Hello and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft 101. We've got ourselves some tools and we've got ourselves some enchantments. It is time to set our sights on new horizons. I've actually been out collecting some materials and it's time for us to... Well, it's sunny out. Oh. Let's go take a look at that. Alright. Here we are at our spooky Nether portal. It looks like the game has decided for us to go into the Nether, so we won't be needing this. But say if you wanted to make yourself a portal here, you take obsidian and make a 3 by 2 at least. So you'd need about that much obsidian to make an actual portal, but any shape, as long as it's connected up here with obsidian, up to a certain size, will make a portal. Now, what you see here is just obsidian, and well, we can look at this all day and nothing's gonna happen. What you need to do is take some iron and some flint and make some flint and steel. And now we're ready to go. Okay, well, take your tool and crack a light here and ignite in there. Now we've got a portal. So, what do? Well, you just walk on in and see where it takes you. Welcome friends. You saw that we need to go deeper. We just got an achievement for going into the Nether for the first time. Now, if you've never been into the Nether yourself, you're probably thinking, oh my word, what is this place? Well, it's the not so friendly side of the portal, and it's maybe you get an underworld vibe from it. It's pretty obvious there. Everything here likes fire, and us being players, we don't like fire. So go into this place expecting to be lit on fire, attacked by spooky things. It's a rough time. But if you've got some good armor, it's a lot more doable. While we're here, we're going to look for a couple naturally generated structures in the game. Let's see if we can't find some. Now, being that this is the underworld and everything likes fire, might as well tell you about netherrack. So you can actually light netherrack on fire and it will stay lit. So we're going to actually take a bunch of this back to the base and use it for like little lampposts and building bonfires. It's pretty great. Now, in this 1.16 update, they actually added another type of fire, a blue fire, that you light a different material that you get from the Nether, and it makes the blue fire last. It's very, very cool. We'll talk more about that when we find that biome. Oh! Okay, there we go. So, our screeching friend there is a ghast, and they launch fireballs. And if you have a bow and arrow and you don't panic like I did, it's pretty easy to just snipe them down. Every so often, I highly recommend placing some overworld blocks. Something like stone or cobblestone works pretty great. Why you don't want to do netherrack, which is all the red stuff around us, is that it's got a really low blast value. So if a ghast comes around and pops one at you, this stone here will last, whereas the netherrack beneath it will just get blasted away. So having little markers like this, because stone doesn't generate in the nether, so using this as a little a waypoint to kind of guide you back to your portal can be the difference between running to collect your stuff and making it back home safe. Alright, well, what we've come across is not what we're looking for. But it's worth talking about. Uh-oh, uh-oh. We found ourselves a bastion. And the occupants of these bastions are called piglins. And they're the not-so-polite gentlemen who are shooting at us. Now this is why you want to come with at least some decent gear on. Because you're going to be fighting. Now once you've packed one of them, you'll have them sound the call, and you've got to prepare yourself for a whole drove of them coming at you. Let's see if we can find a way out here. Alright, so a couple tips. If you have any gold armor and you slot that on, as long as you don't swipe at any of the piglins or open any of their chests, they should ignore you. Now there is another mob being added in called the Piglin Brute, and he looks pretty decked out in armor, and he looks pretty mean. and he doesn't care about your gold armor. So do be careful of that. But as long as you don't find yourself overcommitted to any like one particular fight, you should be able to manage your way in and out of the bastion well enough. Now, probably one of the things you've noticed is those piglins keep running away from something. There's actually the zombified piglins over to my right there. And normal piglins are afraid of zombified piglins. So, I don't know how that'll help you, but now you know. Another nether tip. Hit F3 and then hit F2. Take a screenshot of where your nether portal is so that when you come out of a bastion like I did, you don't have to try to remember which way you came from. I guessed right, but don't make yourself guess. Oh. Cool. Alright, so every so often you gotta just take a pickaxe in hand and start digging. And so this is something that I'm showing you here, and I wanted to highlight why it can be so dangerous to just dig in a straight line. So I hope you see all of those lantern-looking things. Those are actually just pockets of lava waiting for you to find them. So keep in mind that in the Nether, lava moves a lot faster. It moves about at water speeds. So it can really catch you by surprise. So a little bit of fire protection goes a long way in the Nether. Now, here, I actually don't know where the fortress is. I'm kind of just sniffing it out and exploring. Along the way, right here, you'll see me doing things like that, like making beacons or waypoints, just so that it's easy enough for me to take a cursory glance at some landscape and find my way back.
This is what we have been looking for. This is a nether fortress. We are here for a couple things. The first would be we're looking for a couple rooms that look like this, that will have nether warts and some soul sand in the little crevices there. Normally, you'll see the little red roots popping up, and that's used for potion brewing. The other thing we are looking for, or hoping to get, is a skull that our good friend the Wither skeleton just dropped there.
Well, we made our first trek into the Nether, and we've come back with a full inventory of new blocks and materials. To start out, I'll give you a quick run-through of several of the blocks. One of the main biomes you have is the Soul Sand Valley. So right here we've got Soul Sand, and then also here we've got Soul Soil. Now this is the stuff that if you light a fire on, it will make a blue fire. And that should stay lit, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't have to be in the Nether. That you can do that in the Overworld, and it's a great effect. The next material is Crying Obsidian, and that's an interesting new block because it puts off a little bit of light, and also every so often has a particle effect that kind of makes it look like it's crying. And it'll just drip. Kind of like that. Yeah, so it's crying, I guess. Next is one that you can only find in Bastions, so it's good to find a good sized one so you get lots of it. It's Gilded Blackstone, and this is a really fancy new block. I'm quite excited to experiment and figure out where I can put it and use it. The next one is kind of the equivalent. It's Nether gold ore, and this is just netherrack with gold bits in it. And when you break this with a pickaxe, it drops ore nuggets. Not really worth it. So better to get just to use it for the cosmetic. Next is the magma block, and this is one we can find in the Overworld, but is in a lot scarcer supply. And this block, when you stand on it, does short amounts of damage unless you're crouched. So crouching on a magma block makes it so you don't take any damage from it. This has the handy dandy property of when there's water source blocks above it, so just full stream of water, no falling water. It makes a water column going down, so it sucks things down toward it. Soul sand, on the other hand, if you put it in the bottom of the ocean, it'll make a bubble column going up. And so that's actually really great for making water elevators. And as long as it's all source blocks, and I'll show you soon enough how to do that, you can make a water elevator going from bedrock up to the surface, and it's about as fast as it gets to go vertically, at least. Then good old Blackstone. Now Blackstone has a bunch of different variations, and it's essentially normal stone like you see around me, but the nether equivalent. Now normal Blackstone spawns throughout the nether, but the best supply of it is those bastions. And you've got normal blackstone, polished blackstone, and then polished blackstone bricks. So there's a lot of textures and varieties of about this block. Quick other things to hover over. There's just so much. This is a new plant called Twisting Vines, and you can actually climb up this. So that's why I grabbed a little bit, because it makes a handy ladder. The other block we got are chains, and that is a new kind of, well, I'll just show you. This one has a very unique shape. So it makes it so that it looks like chains are hanging from the ceiling, or this point. What they're really good for is taking a lantern and attaching it to a chain here. Let's take a look at that. And it attaches there, and it looks really cool. Ever so slightly up off of that block. So chains are another really cool cosmetic block. Not a whole lot of function, but really opens the door to a lot of possibilities. Okay, so there's just one more piece of business to take care of. One of the other things that you'll find you'll have acquired is a blaze rod coming from, blazes in the Nether Fortress. And this is actually really used for several things. First, blaze rods are just like coal and can burn for, I believe, 12 pieces. So that's 4 more than normal coal or charcoal. But beyond that, you can break it down into blaze powder. And this has a use for potions, but what we want is to take some of those ender pearls and make an eye of ender. Now, if you're short on ender pearls, that's pretty understandable. Endermen don't have a terribly high chance of dropping ender pearls, so that's where looting 3 becomes your best friend. Let's see. But what we want here is the Eye of Ender. So once you've got a whole handful of those, you can right-click with it and send it off. Now, this is pointing us in the direction of something, but for now, that's a subject for next episode. I think that's gonna call it for all the items that we need to gather, all the good stuff. The Nether is very exciting and very expansive now, and we've only scratched the surface of what we can do with the good denizens of the Nether. But for now, we've got to set our sights on another horizon. But until then, happy mining, happy crafting, and I'll see you next time.